Cameras have become one of the key selling points for modern smartphones. In recent years, we've seen phones with 48 and 64 megapixel cameras, and now the spotlight is on 108 megapixel mobile cameras. But here's an interesting point. DSLR cameras, which are renowned for their image quality, often come with just 12 or 24 megapixels. So, it raises an important question. Are smartphone cameras really better than DSLRs? If you're wondering the same thing, stick around, because we're about to dive into the truth. When we're shopping for a new phone, one of the first things we look at is the camera's specifications. It's common to assume that a higher megapixel count means better image quality, and, in most cases, we prioritize phones with higher megapixels. But here's the reality. Megapixels aren't the only factor when it comes to image quality. In fact, there are several other reasons why a DSLR might still outperform even the most advanced smartphone cameras. Before we get into those reasons, let's break down how an image is formed and what exactly megapixels are. When you zoom into a digital image far enough, you'll start to notice tiny squares. These are called pixels. The image you see is actually a combination of millions of these tiny pixels. The more pixels in an image, the more information the image contains, which means you can zoom in further without losing detail. For example, an image captured at 48 megapixels is made up of 48 million pixels. So, even if you zoom in quite a bit, the image will still look sharp. On the other hand, an image taken at 12 megapixels contains only 12 million pixels, meaning you'll start to see those tiny squares much sooner as you zoom in. So, it's clear that more megapixels allow for more detail and higher zoom levels before losing clarity. But, while megapixels do play a role in image quality, they aren't the whole story. The most important factor in improving image quality is actually the camera sensor. The sensor's job is to capture light from the object you're photographing and convert it into a digital image, which you see on your screen. Here's where the big difference comes in. A typical full-frame DSLR sensor is around 36 by 24 millimeters in size, while the average smartphone camera sensor is only about 5.5 by 4 millimeters. That's nearly 40 times smaller than a DSLR sensor. Even if both the DSLR and smartphone cameras have the same megapixel count, say 24 megapixels, the larger sensor of the DSLR can capture more light, resulting in better image quality. This is because the larger sensor allows for larger pixels, which can gather more light and create images with less noise. In contrast, the smaller smartphone sensor has to cram the same number of pixels into a much smaller area, making each pixel tiny and less capable of capturing light, especially in low-light conditions. This is why, even with a 108 megapixel smartphone camera, your photos might not be as clear, particularly in low-light situations. To address this limitation, many smartphone manufacturers have introduced a technology called pixel binning. Pixel binning is a process where multiple pixels are combined to work as one larger pixel, effectively increasing the size of each pixel and improving the clarity of photos, especially in low-light environments. The most common form of pixel binning takes 4 adjacent pixels and makes them act as one. This allows for more light to be captured, resulting in better image quality. However, even with this technology, a DSLR with just 24 megapixels will still produce superior images compared to a smartphone with 108 megapixels, primarily due to the sensor size advantage. Interestingly, companies like Apple and Google, who produce some of the best smartphone cameras, don't use pixel binning at all. Instead, they limit their camera resolution to 10 or 12 megapixels, but focus on larger sensors and advanced software processing to deliver exceptional image quality. This shows that sensor size and software optimization can often outperform raw megapixel count. Now, this isn't to say that smartphone cameras are bad. Not at all. Given the size limitations that smartphone manufacturers are working with, the results they're achieving are nothing short of impressive. But in conclusion, when it comes to capturing high-quality images, a DSLR with just 12 or 24 megapixels will still outperform a smartphone camera, even one boasting 108 megapixels. The sensor size matters more than the megapixel count, especially in terms of light capture, low light performance, and overall clarity. That's it for this video, folks. Thank you for watching. If you found this information useful, please consider subscribing to the channel for more informative videos like this one.